dismissed the awful for Arch. Never happened.
Well, yeah, I feel like you've been on this for a while.
Yeah, I don't know if he's mistaken me for somebody else. I don't remember being on with Bart Scott and dismissing the awful for Arch approach. I just don't.
Well, also, if he is thinking if it goes viral, he gets a cut, he might want to talk to you because that was everywhere yesterday.
Yeah, I'm willing to negotiate.
Okay.
I'm a businessman.
I love that.
It might be worth my while not to even fight that battle.
Okay, because Bart Scott could help you promote.
Yeah.
Maybe we get him a shirt.
There you go.
But everywhere yesterday, CC, people were talking about your pleas to the New York Giants to not take, God bless you, to not take a quarterback with the number 3 overall pick.
Yeah.
CC, we showing it on the television side. CC had the shirt ready yesterday. Awful for Arch in the Giants blue with the Giants logo. You think the team around him is not ready for a quarterback this year, and more importantly, you have a head coach and a GM on the hot seat. So don't draft a quarterback and disrupt his development if you're going to move on from this regime, right? Did I illustrate this correctly?
That's exactly what I said. I mean, I used the analogy yesterday because Adam Schefter talked about marriage and liking versus loving a quarterback.
Yeah.
And I said, drafting a quarterback in the first round when you're a head coach and general manager on the hot seat is like having a baby to save a marriage. It never works out, and you end up doing irreparable harm to the kid. That's what it would feel like. So just to be clear to everybody out there, when it comes to the Shedeur Sanders of it all or the Giants taking a quarterback with the 3rd overall pick, I actually love Shedeur Sanders as a prospect. I think he's the best quarterback in this class. If I had a choice between him and Cam Ward, I'm taking Shedeur, and I don't think twice.
You've been consistent on that.
I've been consistent on that. Mel Kiper has Shedeur Sanders as the top-rated quarterback in this class. So there are different viewpoints in terms of how people see this quarterback class in particular, but me not wanting the Giants to take a quarterback at 3 is not an indictment on the player. It's an indictment on the franchise. They're not at a place where they could properly support a young quarterback. And so when I was making that plea to the Giants yesterday, I wasn't making the plea to the general manager or the head coach because they're going to do what they're going to do. They're trying to say their damn job. I was making the plea to ownership, who has final say over what they're going to do with the 3rd overall pick. And especially when it comes to the quarterback position, John Mara is going to be involved. And that's why I was saying this is something that I don't want the Giants to do because the franchise is not at a point where they can properly develop a young quarterback.
Well, CC, I hate to break it to you, but those pleas may be falling on deaf ears.
Oh, my God.
He is Chris Canty. I'm Michelle Smallman. It's Unsportsmanlike, and we are presented by Progressive Insurance. Our Adam Schefter puts out this tweet, CC. With the NFL draft just over 1 week away, the Giants are holding private workouts for Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders, Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe, and Louisville quarterback Tyler Shuck. A quarterback is on the Giants' radar. Which and where they pick him are the looming questions. Do you think that this is smoke, or do you think that despite your pleas and your sound reasoning as to why the Giants should not do this, and they should go best player available, whether that's Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, that they're going to dismiss everything you've said and go quarterback?
Well, if they're talking about the 3rd overall pick, I think it's smoke. I don't think the Giants are taking a quarterback with the number 3 overall selection. They're going to go with best available. The reason why I'm confident they're not taking a quarterback is because the opportunity cost is too great. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think there are 2 gold jacket prospects in this year's draft, and that is Travis Hunter and that is Abdul Carter. Like, whenever those guys get done with their playing careers, there's a really good chance, I mean, better than anybody else in this draft, that those guys will be walking into Canton. So you don't pass up on the opportunity to draft one of those guys for a quarterback that you are in strong like of, right? And that's what it is, because they don't love any of these quarterbacks that they'll have the opportunity to draft. They really, really like them, but they don't love them. If they did, there wouldn't be a question of who they're taking with the 3rd pick.
Sure.
But because it's gray, because it's uncertain, then it's clear that there is enough room for the New York Giants to justify taking a gold jacket position player versus a quarterback that they think can grow into being good in this league. So I think the conversation around the Giants with the quarterback position happens with what they do with their 2nd round pick. Number 34 overall, do they try to trade back up into the 1st round? Do they stay at 34 and take the best quarterback that's available at that point in the draft. I think that is where the gamesmanship has to play out in terms of where they see value, what they think the other teams around the league perceive this quarterback class to be, and what they think those teams will do subsequently when it comes to next week's draft.
That is what they should do. That is the smart approach. I am not taking it off the board that they're going to take Shedeur Sanders number 3 overall.
Oh, boy.
I'm not. And here's why. First of all, do you trust this front office to make the best decision for the organization? Or do you think that because they're on the hot seat, that there's a huge chance that they're in self-preservation mode, and they can not only justify taking a quarterback to themselves to extend the runway for their careers, but also because it is an area of need. Yes, you have Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal. Yes, you have Jameis Winston in the building on a 2-year deal.
But Tommy, you know those guys ain't the answer.
They're not the answer.
Russell Wilson lost 5 straight games to end last season.
Correct.
Including getting embarrassed in the playoffs. And, well, we know what Jameis is. I look forward to seeing Jameis on social media more than I look forward to seeing him on a football field.
Correct. And Tommy DeVito?
I mean, don't disparage Tommy Cutlets. Come on, it's Tommy Cutlets.
But you don't think he's your quarterback of the future, obviously.
No, Tommy DeVito is the quarterback that keeps you out of position from getting your quarterback. Tommy DeVito is the quarterback that wins meaningless games to keep you from having a high enough draft pick to get the quarterback that you really love.
You said something that was so smart. You say things that are so smart every day, but it keeps ringing in my ears. You have 2 options if you're the New York Giants. You can sell winning or you can sell hope. That's the only 2 routes that you can take.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this regime is going to be able to sell a lot of winning this season.
No.
And so when John Mara decides to have them type up the statement to say we're bringing back Brian Daboll and Joe Shane, they're on the hot seat. We know that they have to save their jobs. And so if they can't sell winning, they have to sell hope. And I just think about the razzle-dazzle, all the excitement that Shedeur Sanders would bring. Think about him and the Big Apple. He's a celebrity. He's built for the big stage. He also is a guy who's gone into 2 different programs at the collegiate level and not only turned things around from a winning standpoint, but he made them incredibly relevant. And that's something that if you're the New York Giants, you can sell to your fans. Whether that's the right football decision in this direct moment or not, it's turning the page in a positive way. So I'm not taking it off the board that they could go with Shedeur number 3 overall.
Yeah, I mean, it changes the conversation, right? If they take Shedeur Sanders with the 3rd overall pick, it's about the future for the New York Giants, and it's not a lot of focus on the inferior product that they have on the field right now. The only problem that I have with the New York Giants is that the team is not ready to win, and that's reflected in the win totals that Vegas has. Right now, ESPN Bet has the New York Giants at 5.5 wins in terms of their over-under. There's only one team that has a lower over-under going into this season, and that's the Cleveland Browns.
Ooh.
And we know what the state of their quarterback room is. So I feel a way about the New York Giants deciding that they're going to take a quarterback when the team that's in front of them in Cleveland, who is in desperate need of a quarterback themselves, is deciding that they're going to go with the best available player. It's a problem for me. It's an issue for me. The organization is not in position to develop that quarterback. And when you have a quarterback taken with a 1st-round pick, especially a top 10 pick, there is a certain level of expectation from the fan base in terms of seeing that guy as a savior. And that's not the position that you want Shedeur Sanders or any quarterback to come into this media market with, knowing the pressure, the intensity of the spotlight that will be on them.
That number 3 overall pick should be a dream pick. Dream pick is brought to you by American Family Insurance. Life's better with American Family Insurance. That's because their agents are there with the right protection at the right price. Learn more at amfam.com. Well, so much of the conversation in the draft CC is around Shedeur Sanders. And if your Giants don't take him at number 3, the conversation then shifts to New Orleans at number 9. But we've been talking about Pittsburgh and how they need to get a quarterback of the future, and could Shedeur Sanders be a fit there?
Yeah.
When he went to Pittsburgh, he said it was a 10 of 10. He said, Shedeur, I know why they've had such success. He said Mike Tomlin reminds him of his father in ways. All glowing reviews. There's reports out there that Mike Tomlin really liked Shedeur Sanders. But there's no way that well, I shouldn't say no way because it's the draft and people fall every single year. We think it's highly improbable that he will be there for them when their pick comes around. Do we think the Pittsburgh Steelers are an organization that is saying, we're going to go against what our DNA has been, and we're going to take a big swing here and do whatever it takes to jump up and make sure we grab Shedeur Sanders and he's our quarterback of the future, especially when the odds are probably there that Aaron Rodgers is not signed to be their quarterback come draft night.
Well, yeah, I mean, the uncertainty around quarterback, there's no way you can feel comfortable about them having Mason Rudolph, right? Mason Rudolph, in any season, the most games he's ever started is 8. In that room that they believe can be the solution, somebody that can give them better quarterback play. I mean, in the last half decade, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 24th in QBR as an organization. Oof. That just shows you how bad the revolving door of quarterbacks that's been here has been, and that's an impediment to success in today's game. But Smalls, I mean, I got to turn this question back on you.
Okay.
Do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers will actually trade up to try to get a quarterback, knowing that they don't have a second-round pick, knowing that they don't have a ton of draft capital, or do you expect that they're going to stay at the 21st overall pick and take best available?
I'm not taking it off the board, CC, and here's why. So much of the narrative around the Steelers and this potential move is it's not in their DNA. This is not really something that the Pittsburgh Steelers historically would do.
It's not.
They're not going to take a big swing. They're not going to move up. They're not going to mortgage their future in order to get a quarterback. But I haven't seen what we consider to be the Pittsburgh Steelers in quite some time. This is an organization that wins playoff games. We haven't seen that in 5 seasons. This is an organization that is historically devoid of drama and steady.
Con Ly với lại con Vy Anh, hai con chơi chung. Còn rủ ta yêu mấy lần người ta còn chả thèm kia. Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Vòng hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là đông tảo. Mọi người, hôm nay vòng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là chân gà. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nhé. Vinh 22 tuổi đòi cưới. Nãy ta kể đây, kể thằng Vinh.